Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Upper School Academic Awards for the 2022-2023 school year. Today, we take some time during a very busy time of year to recognize the hard work and accomplishments of a number of our students. It's typical during these ceremonies for a speaker, in this case me, to encourage every student in the audience to reflect on their own accomplishments, regardless of whether they're recognized here today. And there's truth in that. And I have no doubt that each one of you has found success in your classes in one form or another. But I also think it's important for us to celebrate others when given the opportunity. If we're the community we say we are and the one we aspire to be, then the accomplishments and recognition of others is something which elevates all of us, as we've all contributed to their success in our work with them and benefited from them in much the same way. So join me in celebrating each student here today who's recognized, and share your applause with them equally, whether they're your best friend or someone you've yet to meet. This is a great opportunity to support each other and recognize the standard which we all strive to meet. To those who do receive awards today, please meet in the lobby at the conclusion of the ceremony for a few pictures. Now please join me in welcoming Ms. Laviola, the chair of our World Languages Department, to present our first awards.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure and honor today to present the awards for excellence in world language. And as I prepare to do so, I ask that we contemplate, even if only for just a moment, the seemingly simple question: what is language anyway? Anyone who has ever picked up a copy of Virgil's Aeneid and been swept away, or stumbled through a conversation in Spanish only to realize that some words simply have no equivalent in English, or experienced the musicality of poetry in untranslated French, will attest that language is something more than an interminable and ever-evolving list of vocabulary terms, grammatical rules, syntax, and semantics. I like to believe that language is a uniquely human phenomenon that supersedes and defies definition. It is the building block of the thoughts we think and the world we create. The students we are about to recognize have broadened not only their linguistic capacities, but the limits of their understanding. For as Austrian philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein states, the limits of one's language are the limits of one's world. So, without further ado, for the Award for Excellence in French, I will share remarks prepared by Dr. Lalich. Tenacious. This is the first thing that comes to mind when I think of this year's Upper School French Award winner. To join his current class, he had to skip a level of French, which did not intimidate him. His progress was steady and fast, thanks to the extra effort, extra time, and extra focus that he developed. People often marvel at language learners like this year's award winner, wondering how they pick up language so quickly. It's almost as if they're mystical gurus, possessors of some rare and special knowledge. What is the key to your exceptional skill, people may wonder. When you see our winner chatting away, you see that he is a creative thinker, confident and unafraid of making errors. He's not afraid to guess, and he learns from his own mistakes as well as the mistakes of others. You will see him self-correct as he speaks, always making an effort to use the new vocabulary he learned from his readings and from the hundreds of index cards on which he wrote French vocabulary, expressions, and grammar points. Passion, focus, determination, and hard work. Congratulations to this year's French Award winner, Scott Valentine. Now, for the award for excellence in Latin, I will share remarks prepared by Dr. Gregory. We award this year's Latin prize to a student who challenges the tired trope of the cynical, detached high school student, too cool to care or to embrace passion and curiosity. Joseph Gagan has distinguished himself not only in his aptitude for Latin, but in his unironic, unapologetic enthusiasm for language, literature, and ancient civilizations. In a world that often mocks or dismisses genuine passion, Joseph has unabashedly expressed delight in esoteric grammar, poetic devices, and wordplay. From the beginning of his studies in Latin, he has demonstrated an acute sensitivity to the nuances of language. From the simplest text about a sheep lost in a wood to an intermediate text about a half-goat stalker, the most challenging Latin literature about Dido's brutal fate, Joseph has found pleasure, meaning, and humor. Whenever I'm in the classroom with Joseph, I am reminded of why I love teaching Latin and sharing my passion for antiquity with students. He has served as an encouraging touchstone for the past 4 years and a source of inspiration and motivation. For his love of learning, innate sense for language, and for the daily reminder that there is value in pursuing the things that make us happy, Joseph Gagan is this year's winner of the Latin Award. And now, on to the award for excellence in Spanish. I will be sharing remarks prepared by Dr. Mock Arias. We are very pleased to present this award to a person whose hard work, curiosity, and tenacity has allowed her to become fluent in Spanish at an exceptional level. This student completed the entirety of the World Language Program at MBS. She started in middle school and continued throughout her 4 years of the upper school. She also took advantage of the opportunities provided by the Global Studies program here at MBS and spent a year abroad in Zaragoza, Spain. While her command of the language was already impressive before she left for this adventure, she returned to MBS with an increased level of proficiency and cultural awareness. So much so that she was able to join the Heritage Spanish class and is able to discuss, write, and participate in activities in an environment where only native-level Spanish is spoken. This student stands out for her maturity and active efforts to ask questions, understand cultures, and constantly improve her target language usage. This year's for the Award for Excellence in Spanish goes to Tomiwa Oluwasola. And for the Multilingual Award, I will share remarks prepared by Mademoiselle Henkel and Señora de la Torre. It takes a language student like Erica Adu to truly grow tired of words. This is not the product of apathy, but of a sensitivity to her own overuse of certain words. She pushes herself to speak as often as possible in Spanish and in French, and in being verbose, there are many words that she returns to often. Effrayant, or frightening in English, has been one of those words in her intermediate French class. She herself even noted that this word has more or less run its course, and she's been quick to fill its place with synonyms and paraphrases. Language is a tool for Erica, and it is a tool that she wields thoughtfully in the way that an artist does, working towards not just technical mastery, but a unique perspective and a clear voice. It is Erica who speaks and writes with her words, rather than letting her words speak for her. She is like a Picasso in her experienced Spanish class, experimenting with different styles and techniques throughout her learning to see what works best. Picasso was a master of creative expression, using art to convey complex emotions and ideas. Likewise, Erica uses Spanish and French to express herself creatively, whether it's through writing, speaking, or other forms of expression. Picasso also worked tirelessly throughout his life to perfect his craft, as does Erica, who makes a commitment to consistently practice and improve her skills. Like any artist, she may grow tired of her tools and try out new means of expression. In class, she tinkers with new grammatical structures and vocabulary, experimenting with what can most clearly get her thoughts and feelings across to others. No matter the topic, whether mundane or intellectually demanding, Erica analyzes, discusses, and expresses herself with clarity and creativity. But an artist's work is never done. Erica thinks, asks, searches for more in her language classes. She strives to make language her own. She is a voracious language student with a remarkable awareness and remarkable abilities, as well as what is effrayant or not. Congratulations to Erica Du, this year's recipient of the Award for Multilingual Excellence. And now I introduce Ms. Marone with the Mathematics Department's awards.
The Baker Trophy for Excellence in Mathematics is awarded each year to the student who has exhibited outstanding achievement in mathematics. This year's recipient is perhaps the living embodiment of the phrase, "Speak softly and carry a big stick," as so eloquently put by Teddy Roosevelt. This student is content to sit, absorb, process, and question internally. They will speak when they have something to say. And when they do, it's always a game-changing observation or well-formed question. And while they are a quiet force in the classroom, they are, in no uncertain terms, a force. In my BC Calculus class, this student is often the first to finish assessments that often leave other students pulling their hair out down to the wire. I will then later observe that despite their speed, they've earned the top score amongst their peers. This student also tends to prefer to work alone, but will inevitably get called over by their classmates during group work because they need an ace. Perhaps the most amusing part of working with this student is their genuine surprise at times. Their brilliant answer to a tough question is often given with a hesitancy that betrays their formidable academic record. And then they have the audacity to be shocked when they're right. But this leaves me encouraged that there is still so much for this student to learn and marvel at as they begin their next chapter at Davidson next year. And if she hasn't yet guessed that I'm speaking about her, congratulations, Kathleen Degnan, on being this year's recipient. The Mathematics Department presents the Paul Furrer Award each year in honor of a beloved teacher. In the 32 years of Paul's teaching career, he was both an instructor and a mentor to 3 generations of students attending first the Morristown School and later the Morristown Baird School. His influence on students, faculty, and thousands of others represents a legacy that will be passed on from generation to generation. This award is given to an accomplished mathematics student who exemplifies Paul's attributes: his patience, his persistence, his willingness to assist others, and his appreciation of the beauty and elegance of mathematics. This year's recipient seems to be the aforementioned qualities in living, breathing form. I taught him once as a sophomore, but have not since then. Yet at that time, he was mature beyond his years and had a curiosity one would expect from a college undergrad. I checked in with a few of his more recent teachers, his advisors, and even some family friends. It seems there is a good possibility that Andre Chabra has always been this way. Of course, Andre is a bright and gifted mathematical thinker, but it is his collaboration that has truly impressed our department. Despite often being several steps ahead in a problem, he will always take the time to help his peers understand. It appears he can work well with literally anyone and is genuinely invested in their ideas and their learning. And as for his own learning, he takes nothing at face value and is always in search of a more elegant solution. To quote his AP statistics teacher, Ms. Kirschenbaum, "I got into teaching because of students like Andre." Congratulations. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Payette, who will present the Science Department Awards.
Good afternoon. I've got 5 department awards to hand out today, so buckle up, it'll take me a little while. First up, the MBS Science Department is pleased to present the Physics Award to Claire Patchett. As I taught Claire's freshman mathematical physics class myself, these are my words. In thinking about Claire as I prepared for the speech, I was reminded about the book Quiet by Susan Cain, which the entire MBS faculty read a few years back. The book highlights the value that introverts bring to many situations, despite often being overshadowed by their more outgoing, extroverted peers. While introverts, especially children, are often pigeonholed as being shy, in Claire's case, what may initially be perceived as shyness is in fact the self-assuredness and maturity of a young woman who is remarkably poised and is comfortable in her own skin. Although she most often is quiet in class, it is abundantly clear that she is focused, paying keen attention, taking everything in, and assimilating material at a very high level. In essence, Claire is a quiet force in our classroom. When she does contribute to a full group discussion, it is always with an excellent clarifying question or with an insight that pushes the group to the next level or even into fruitful new territory. No words are wasted, and any comment she makes has been well thought out and is brimming with insight. When paired up in small group discussions for lab reports and projects, Claire becomes a bit more vocal, often taking the lead, and when she speaks, her teammates listen, trusting her to help them figure out whatever problem they're dealing with. While she excels by traditional academic measures, her assessment scores are consistently among the highest in the class. It is her quiet determination and persistence which truly set Claire apart. She has come to realize that the expectation in this challenging honors level course is that the students will need to go a step, or sometimes 2 steps, beyond the material explicitly covered in the classroom. She consistently puts in the required time to fully master the basics and to stretch her understanding in order to be fully prepared to handle the tough problems and conceptual challenges inherent to the course. Congratulations, Claire. All right. Second, the MBS Science Department is pleased to present the Chemistry Award to Arden Upadhyay. In the words of his quantitative chemistry teacher, Dr. Milinkovic, I would consider Arden one of my best all-around students. Arden's intellectual curiosity brings tremendous energy to the room because he fully embraces the learning process. He is a highly motivated, conscientious student who takes ownership of his work, and all of his assignments have been within the A or A+ range. He can easily see past the details of a problem that might be confusing to other students, and he has a knack for the kind of thinking required in this course. Arden is always prepared for work in the laboratory, and he has increasingly assumed a leadership role in group experimental work. This commendable consistency makes me very comfortable about his recommendation for the AP Chemistry class in the fall, and I look forward to hearing about his future accomplishments in this subject. Congratulations, Arden. Third, the MBS Science Department is pleased to present the Biology Award to Erica Adu. In the words of her experimental biology teacher, Dr. Milinkovic, Erica is an incredibly diligent student. Her inquisitive nature and perseverance to learn are paramount to her success thus far in this class, and she can be relied upon to bring a positive attitude to the learning environment. She is never satisfied with superficial understanding, but instead tends to delve deeper in order to expand her knowledge. Erica powered through some more complex topics during our unit on DNA structure and function, and she earned an A+ on both of this unit's assessments, namely her laboratory report on polygenetic inheritance and on her DNA RNA test. I continue to be impressed by Erica's dedication to the course and her studies as a whole, and I am confident that she can have a productive time and do well in the AP Biology course next year. Congratulations, Erica. Fourth, the MBS Science Department is pleased to present the Environmental Science Award to Jonas Weinman. In the words of his environmental science teacher, Ms. Keeley, at MBS, environmental science is typically taken during senior year because it requires a high level of prior knowledge about biology, chemistry, and physics. It also requires an analytical capacity that only experienced and mature thinkers have because the course challenges learners to transcend disciplines and posit how politics, economics, and sociology amalgamate the sciences. Without a doubt, Jonas Weinman has successfully mastered this skill. Jonas is deeply invested in his learning. He asks to use more than the required number of sources. He asks to present first. He volunteers so frequently that I have to say, okay, someone other than Jonas. He understands so many details about a topic that he needs to use the back of the paper for short essay questions on tests, and he almost always scores grades in the A+ range. According to Mr. McCormick, during track practice, he even brings up topics discussed in environmental science class in order to get his teammates' opinions. Environmental science also highlights how nature influences regional culture and human identity. Jonas, you studied your ancestors' experiences in Belgium for your independent study, in part to learn more about your own identity. You're soon to be a Bostonian, attending Boston College in the fall. I know you'll enjoy exploring this new identity, and so I hope you'll enjoy the books we've selected for you about the environmental history of the Boston Harbor Islands and how they've shaped the culture you're about to dive into. Blustery winters, vibrant autumn leaves, lobster rolls, and clam chowder are all just the beginning of nature's gifts you'll receive over the next 4 years. Congratulations, Jonas. All right. Finally, certainly last but not least, The MBS Science Department is pleased to present the overall award for excellence in science to Hutchinson McDonald. In the words of his experimental biology and AP biology teacher, Dr. Howells, even if, at the very beginning of last year, Hutch did not immediately stand out as an outstanding student in biology, he soon started to impress. Hutch's deep interest in the topic became more and more evident as the weeks progressed. Moreover, his contributions and questions became more insightful and probing as his confidence grew. What really revealed Hutch's bright mind and true deep curiosity for the natural world has been the journal entries in his biology journal, which clearly demonstrated Hutch's depth of thinking, his curiosity, and his ability to observe and think about the world around him. By the end of last year, I was really impressed with Hutch's approach to biology, and so I encouraged him to take the AP course. Hutch has risen to the demands of this challenging class throughout the year, becoming more and more of an independent learner, improving on his study skills to be able to master a large amount of material in a short period of time. In addition, Hutch's love for learning and discovery make him an asset in any class. In AP Biology specifically, Hutch has been our in-house naturalist managing much of the classroom trout project since we received the eggs back in the fall. With his experience as a fly fisherman, he brings extra insight to the maintenance of the tank and the interpretation of the trout behavior. Hutch never stops thinking, asking questions, and more importantly, reasoning on how to answer them. Additionally, in the words of his environmental science teacher, Mr. McCormick, Hutch couples curiosity with a willingness to work hard to deeply understand complex ideas, and expresses a genuine desire to understand the concepts for reasons beyond just his score on a test. Hutch's thinking about environmental decision-making is incredibly balanced. He's able to look at complex issues from multiple perspectives, but he is also willing to take a firm position behind the approach he thinks is best, based on the available evidence and sound, thoughtful reasoning. The entire MBS Science Department congratulates Hutch McDonald. And with that, I'll turn the microphone over to Mr. Donahue.
Hello. How are you? Good. Okay. Quick note before I begin, I'm grateful to Mrs. Whelan and Ms. Hardman for their help in preparing these speeches. I have 2 awards to give out. The Susan Marie May Art Award is given to a senior who has achieved excellence in the visual arts throughout their years at Morristown Baird School. Maggie Ahern is a model for how to get the most value out of the art and design program here. They took a range of electives in studio arts and digital arts and integrated everything they learned into their own creative passions, in this case, illustration, character design, and fashion design. Maggie completed an ambitious independent study in animated storytelling in order to learn a new animation program from scratch. They also taught themselves how to use the Cricut machine to design and make stickers. Outside of school, they're pursuing textile arts, and they're also pursuing a senior project that involves directing and producing an entire show, including creating the costumes from scratch. Finally, Maggie has always been a willing and eager ambassador for the art and design program. They presented their story of creative growth to the Board of Trustees and helped us run a session in the CID for an admissions event. In fact, Maggie's been such a fixture in the CID that it will feel a little empty after they graduate. Join me in congratulating this year's May Award recipient, Maggie Ahern. Okay. Second, the Kramer Award is given in memory of Edmund Kramer by his sons and is presented to a student who has shown excellence in the art of photography at Morristown Baird School. Only a sophomore, Emma Teitelbaum, is killing it in our photography program. In film photography, she mastered using a 35mm camera, learning to create perfect contrast in both 125 and 400 speed film. She's also a whiz at processing, preparing the chemicals in the darkroom, and using the enlarger to create black and white prints. According to Ms. Hartman, Emma just clicked with the whole beautiful, messy trial and error process of film photography. She's now enrolled in digital photography, honing her skills in composition, capturing motion and depth of field, and Emma is also pursuing an independent study in advanced film techniques this semester. Using her interest in both nature and portraiture, Emma has created beautiful portraits of a friend with nuanced balance of value. She's currently learning how to use contrast filters and techniques like burning and dodging and hand tinting, and her culminating project will be enlarging a negative to produce a platinum print, a 19th century technique used by famous artists Alfred Stieglitz, Paul Strand, and Edward Weston. Her talent for photography knows no boundaries, and I sincerely hope you'll have a chance to see her work. Join me as I congratulate our Kramer Award recipient, Emma Teitelbaum. All right, thank you. I'm now going to turn the mic over to Dr. Diggold.
Hello, everybody. I'm here to present the Moriah Award. Moriah, of course, as you know, is the Morristown Baird School magazine of literature and art, annual magazine. And I became the advisor for Moriah only just at the beginning of this past academic year. Before I name the winner of the Moriah Award for this year, I'd like to just say a few things about Moriah and its staff in general. I'm not sure exactly what I imagined would be the role of the Moriah advisor as I stepped into it. I didn't know exactly where I would fit in. I think that if I were to look back and think about what I imagined my role would be, I probably imagined that I would do a lot of leading, and that I would call meetings, and that the students would come, and I would maybe explain things about how a literary and art journal would work, and what the roles might be, and then I'd say, and our next meeting would be, and then they'd come, and I would be in that kind of position. Not at all. I found immediately in our first meeting that, in fact, I'm by far the least important part of the Moriah organization, but that it is the staff of students, volunteers from all of you who volunteered to be on the Moriah staff, who lead the magazine and who told me how it works. And so that I might be there at a meeting, and the students are having their meeting, and I'm just sort of sitting by and nodding, and one of the students then at the end says, "And Dr. Daigle, do you have anything to add?" I'm like, "No, you got it. You got it. That's good." So before I do present and name the Moriah awardee, I would like to hear just a round of applause for the Moriah staff from everybody, please. It's been great working with all of you, and you know who you are out there in the audience as the Moriah staff. I decided this year to award the Moriah Award to two people, and it was an easy decision to make. These two people, and I'll name them now, Hannah Everett and Charlotte Sussman. They are the co-editors-in-chief this year of Moriah, and they have truly worked as a team. And I think that that's what I have recognized most is their teamwork together, having that dual role, both of them taking on different facets of that role, working together as equal partners, and then also working as a team in terms of shepherding all of us, and I include myself as a staff member, shepherding everybody on the staff through the process, knowing how it would work, solving problems, getting everybody together. We've been meeting for a couple of months now, every Wednesday afternoon to consider submissions and other business of the magazine. And so I've just seen that leadership and teamwork through Charlotte and Hannah in just fantastic ways. So they are this year's winners of the co-winners of the Moriah Award. If they could come up to receive their award. And for the next award, it would be Laura Kirschenbaum.
It is my pleasure to stand before you today to recognize two outstanding students who have dedicated their time and effort to Crimson Sun, our school newspaper. Both Matthew Wang and Liv Mann have shown incredible talent and determination throughout their journeys as members of Crimson Sun. Matthew started out as a humble reporter and now serves as the editor-in-chief, and Liv started as a staff photographer and now serves as both the photography editor and director of digital media. Through their tireless efforts, they have contributed to the growth and success of the school newspaper, bringing insightful stories and captivating articles to the student body. In his own words from his application for editor-in-chief last year, Matthew said, "Journalism is how I document global changes on a local level, how I serve my community, and how I speak up." Matthew has a strong appreciation for traditional investigative journalism. He has written multiple articles on COVID-19 that have required outside research, and his articles are some of the most popular on our website. All of Liv's applications for leadership positions have always been focused on creating community within the club itself, which, if you've ever met Liv, is perfectly on brand. Liv has made it her personal mission to bring Crimson Sun into the 21st century. Her work with our Instagram has helped increase overall readership and inspired others to join the paper in some capacity. Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and author Anna Quindlen said, "I think a journalist has to be honest, which doesn't mean they have to be boring or predictable." Through their work for Crimson Sun, both Matthew and Liv have demonstrated a keen eye for detail, a commitment to accuracy, and an ability to tell compelling stories through either writing or photography that engage our readership, and they have certainly not been boring or predictable. Matthew and Liv are shining examples of the best our school has to offer, and we have been fortunate to have them as a part of our community. Please join me in congratulating Matthew and Liv on receiving the Founders Cup. I don't know who's next. Next up is Mrs. Van Horn.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure to represent the History and Social Sciences Department. Phoebe Styles King, after whom this award is named, was a graduate of Miss Baird School in 1949. It's possible today you've walked by a gallery also named after her, over in the corner of the Math Science Center. Who is this person whose name and legacy we use to both showcase the artists among us and to honor an outstanding senior who over the course of their time at MBS has exhibited both excellence in and a passion for history? According to those who knew her, Phoebe Styles King was a Renaissance woman. She held a diverse range of sophisticated interests, including reading, visiting the opera, appreciating European art and architecture, and traveling the world. Phoebe was something of an artist, too, practicing knitting and needlepoint and interior design. She was also an athlete, enjoying social games like tennis and golf. Across these different aspects of her life, Phoebe Styles King lived out that classical mantra: we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not a virtue, but a habit. Since this award is named after a Renaissance woman, it makes sense to pass it on to this year's honoree, who has impressed his teachers as a young Renaissance man. To prove it, I'll give you a snapshot of their success across every academic discipline. At the cum laude induction ceremony earlier this month, Mr. Fisher spoke about the students' facility, even in exceptionally challenging CASI courses. They demonstrated a range of knowledge that teenagers, quote, just aren't supposed to have. Last year, the student was inducted into Mu Alpha Theta, the Math Honor Society, which speaks to their excellence in that field. In history this year, Mr. Hannigan named this student as a standout among a class of already outstanding students in AS, A History of Western Ideas. Mr. Holbrook and I share vivid memories of teaching this student as an enthusiastic, curious, and a diligent ninth grader. This student is a polyglot, speaking multiple languages and excelling in the program of the World Languages Department. But diligence and achievement for this student doesn't stop in the classroom. This student is passionate about music. I recall speaking in great length about their progress in learning the guitar. This student is equally dedicated to athletics. Just a few months ago, during winter track, this student helped set a new school record in the 4x800 relay race and has been honored in years past as a standout senior athlete. While this award is granted by the History Department for excellence in and passion for the study of our discipline, it speaks to the spirit of excellence and well-roundedness of its namesake. It is my pleasure to grant the Phoebe Styles King Award to Andre Chopra. Why study history? Given all the demands that press in from living in the present and anticipating what is yet to come, why bother with what has been? More specifically, why, as upper school juniors, when students begin to think toward college and the future, do we foist them back firmly into their present and our shared past? It's true that American history in the junior year is the final required course in our department. It's also true that the junior year is the first time MBS students have studied American history, maybe since middle school. And it is the first year in which they can pursue advanced classes in our department. For those select students who demonstrate both a passion for and an excellence in the study of American history, and particularly for the recipient of this award, the junior year American history courses answer the question of why study history. For starters, this student shows that we study history because it develops life skills, fluency in argumentation, sourcing, and clear communication. The student excelled in doing so in AS Perspectives on American History, a college-level seminar-style course in which students explore American history through a variety of lenses, including but not limited to economics, gender, race, and imperialism. This student regularly earned top marks on her papers and assignments, demonstrating nuanced thinking in crafting claims and evidence and reasoning. Ms. Wilson describes this student's work as consistently outstanding. This student has also shown that studying history can shape our moral compass. This student leaned in to difficult discussions about the realities of American history, beginning with the implications of 1619 and the colonization which followed. This student puts this abstract theoretical benefit into practice in her history classes, making space for voices, opinions, and insights of her peers. This speaks to the best of what a historian can be, a capable, quiet visionary who empowers others. The American Historical Association sums it up in terms of reasoning quite well. Why study history? Well, here's an answer. Because we virtually must, to gain access to the laboratory of human experience. When we study it reasonably well, and so acquire some usable habits of mind, as well as some basic data about the forces that affect our own lives, we emerge with relevant skills and an enhanced capacity for informed citizenship, critical thinking, and simple awareness. Between the inescapable minimum and the pleasure of deep commitment comes the history that, through cumulative skill in interpreting the unfolding human record, provides a real grasp of how the world actually works. May this reasoning continue to inspire this student and us all. For her outstanding success this year in celebrating, questioning, and interpreting American history, it is my pleasure to grant the U.S. History Award to Haley Scrow. And next, we will hear from Ms. Eyrich on behalf of the English department.
Good afternoon. So happy to be here to represent the English department and present our 2 awards, the Trustees Award for Excellence in the Study of English and the Creative Writing Award. First, we have the Trustees Award. This year's winner of the Trustees Award for Excellence in English, Jeffrey Scott Valentine, truly loves words, their shades of meaning, their playfulness, their possibilities. Mr. Lovelock reflected, for 2 years, Scott co-edited the Standard Candle, our school's academic journal. He also designed the cover of the Standard Candle cover for both years, conveying effectively in his images how COVID impacted our community. Scott also possesses the driest wit in a student that I've ever found. Everything that Scott says is tinted with irony or satire, never rude or too provocative, but never just literal and earnest. He is a born commentator, a satirist. His current teacher, Ms. Van Horn, wrote, Scott's dry sense of humor is an antidote to a sleepy moment in a room. However, it is also an unexpectedly useful close reading tool. Scott accurately parsed a rare moment of satire early on in Virginia Woolf's novel, Mrs. Dalloway, due in all likelihood to his own penchant for satire. Dr. Horan, his junior year teacher, shared, Scott, an avid reader and lover of fiction, is quite the wordsmith. I truly looked forward to reading his weekly writing submissions because I wanted to see what particular spin he would give to a journal prompt or homework question. Let's hear from Scott himself. Of Toni Morrison's A Mercy, he wrote, A Mercy takes advantage of a variety of stylistically different narrative voices, not only to give depth to a culturally complex point in history, but to perhaps make readers slightly uncomfortable with reading unapologetically candid accounts of this time period as well. I think I just learned something. Congratulations, Scott, for your fine work. And now for the Creative Writing Award. I first met Hannah Everett last spring when she told me quite clearly that she wanted to be a screenwriter. I hadn't met Hannah before, though I'd certainly heard of her and her love of literature and creative writing. In that brief conversation, she tossed off titles of shows she'd already studied on her own, and she had an even longer list of those she intended to study. In her upper school years, Hannah has excelled in our English program, whether writing creatively or analytically. And her senior year English program mirrors that. This year, she has studied modernist literature with Ms. Van Horn, serial dramas with Mr. Goodman, and sitcoms with Mr. Lovelock. Of her work, Mr. Goodman shared, Hannah has a true passion for television and a gift for analysis. She went above and beyond in both the analytical and creative portions of the class. Mr. Lovelock told me, in writing the sitcom, she is writing a pilot about the turmoils and joys of friendships and romance at summer camp. The assignment for the quarter is to just write the pilot episode for her sitcom, but in true Hannah fashion, she spent her time at the recent writers' retreat sketching out plots for later episodes in her first season. Hannah's devotion to the craft of creating writing that entertains is as admirable as it is unrelenting. Mr. Donahue, who has worked with Hannah on Mariah in previous years, shared the following thoughts. Her love for words is obvious, not only in her own passion for writing, but in her support of her peers' writing. Wherever Hannah is discussing literature and working on her writing, in our classes, on writers' retreats, in Mariah meetings, or simply in the hallways and on her way to class, it is clear that Hannah has found a true passion. Hannah, give us some notice when you get your first show. We look forward to getting to know all the characters and plot twists you create. Congratulations. And next we have Mr. Gold for the Performing Arts Department.
Hello. As chair of the Performing Arts Department, it is my great pleasure to present this year's awards on behalf of the members of the Performing Arts Department faculty. Our first award is the Theater Arts Award. And about this year's recipient, Mr. Rutman writes the following. This year's recipient of the Academic Theater Award has contributed tremendously to the theater department at MBS. Since the 6th grade, he has had the great distinction of performing in every play and musical that has been presented on stage in Founders Hall. 3 musicals in middle school, all 4 musicals in upper school, as well as every fall play produced at MBS. From playing a duck in the middle school production of Honk to playing a septuagenarian, I had to look up how to say that, miser in the upper school production of The Miser, this young man has honed his acting talents for 7 years right here in Founders Hall. His dedication to the performing arts, as well as his tremendous work ethic, have set a high bar for his peers and inspired many of the younger students who have no doubt seen him perform on stage. Although I have never taught this young man in class, I have had the great pleasure to work with him in every musical since the 6th grade, and I am constantly impressed by his comedy timing, his dramatic gravitas, and his overall ability to compel an audience with his performances. It is my great pleasure to present this year's Academic Theater Award to Sal D'Agostino. The next award is the Dance Award, and for this I'd like to read remarks prepared by Ms. DeVenter, who wrote, "Strong technique, beautiful quality of movement, and sassy stage presence are a few words that come to mind when I think of today's Dance Award recipient. I've had the pleasure of teaching Ava Polari since she was in the 6th grade. While she showed promise in middle school, especially with her passion and dedication to dance, it thrills and pleasantly surprises me to see the outstanding dancer she has become today. On a personal level, it has been delightful watching Ava grow into a confident, mature, and lovely young woman. Ava demonstrates great versatility as a dancer, being well-trained in various styles of the art form, including jazz, tap, and modern contemporary. Besides being skilled in so many areas of dance, she is a joy to work with in class. Ava is especially adept at formulating creative ideas that enrich my original choreography. Her quality of movement elevates the performance level for everyone on stage. Off stage, she is always ready to assume a leadership role and motivate the other students, especially younger dancers, to perform at their best. Ava, thank you for your passion and dedication to the dance program for the past 7 years. Good luck as you continue your dance career in the fall at Sacred Heart University. Congratulations." Next, we have the Vocal Music Award, and about this year's recipient, Mr. Krause writes, "Throughout this student's 3 years at MBS, they have been deeply involved in the singing life at the school. They have performed at Coffee House, the Performing Arts Festival, as well as in our theater productions of Sweeney Todd, Be More Chill, and most notably last year's Sweet Charity. Additionally, this student's commitment to singing life at MBS extends beyond their individual performances. While this person is a strong soloist, they've also been a leader in the upper school chorus. As a member of the soprano section, the student leads her section not just with her excellent singing, but also in the way she conducts herself in class, fully present and engaged in all parts of the rehearsal process. I look forward to this singer continuing to sing as a senior at MBS and beyond. I am pleased to give the 2023 Vocal Music Award to Caitlin Brown. Next up is the Arthur Cates Instrumental Music Award, and for this I will read remarks prepared by Dr. Gervin, who writes, "The Arthur Cates Instrumental Music Award recognizes outstanding talent and dedication to the instrumental music program at Morristown Bayard School. As an integral member of the Upper School Jazz Ensemble for an impressive 4 years, the award winner consistently demonstrated remarkable progress on their chosen instrument and an advanced level of music reading ability. Their confident playing from the score and leadership in their section is truly commendable. This student's skill in improvisation is evident in their exploration of the intricate nuances of jazz, often delivering captivating solos that showcase the full range of their instrument. With a keen ear for tone color and a creative musical imagination, they have consistently conveyed clear and creative musical ideas at every one of our performances, embodying the spirit of a true student of the music. This musician also possesses an unfailingly positive attitude, whether in performing arts classes or on the sports field. They have demonstrated the value of being a team player." In addition to their jazz studies, this student has also ventured into the realm of electronic music composition and sound design at the MBS Summer Institute, showcasing their versatility and dedication to exploring diverse musical genres. Their willingness to push boundaries and embrace new experiences is indicative of a fine musician. Furthermore, the student's commitment to excellence extends beyond their individual musicianship, as they prioritize precise note placement and impeccable tuning while playing in ensemble, contributing to the overall musicality of the group. Their unwavering dedication to musical excellence and exceptional talents make them a truly deserving recipient of this honor. Congratulations to the winner of the 2023 Arthur Cates Instrumental Music Award, trombonist Gavin Fry. And the last award for the Performing Arts Department is the Instrumental Music Award for Strings. And I wrote, "The recipient of this year's Instrumental Music Award for Strings has been a participant in the strings program at Morristown Bayard School since middle school. Over those many years, despite carrying a rigorous academic load and their involvement in athletics, the students stayed committed to the string ensemble, much to our great benefit. Now, ask any engineer and they will tell you that a house is only as strong as the foundation on which it is built. The same holds true in music. Whatever the ensemble, a rock band, a barbershop quartet, or a symphony orchestra, the group can only be as good as its lowest pitched voice. It is an acoustical reality. That is why when this student joined the string program at MBS, everything changed. Not only did we gain our first bass player, but one whose solid playing and great sense of pitch became integral to the success and cohesion of the group, as did his strong character. A conscientious and committed individual with wry humor and infinite patience, he has had an unquestionably positive influence on his peers as both a role model, always leading by example, and this year as a mentor to a new colleague, another bass player. He really is and has been, as I wrote in a student comment last year, the anchor of the ensemble. We will miss him, but wish him nothing but great success next year at Dartmouth and beyond. Please join me in congratulating the winner of this year's Instrumental Music Award for Strings, Zubin Pandey. And next up is Mr. Fisher.
I've always found something about a class of 1924 award for computer excellence intriguing. In a world of GPTs, LLMs, Bitcoins, autonomous drones, computer science is no longer just programming. What might once have been a computer science department is instead somewhat grandly named computational and information sciences. As information science has become more pervasive in our daily life, indeed some might say invasive, what was once coding has become a multidisciplinary exploration of simulation, design, and complexity, with some rockets thrown in because why not? Excellence in these fields no longer is the art of just slinging code you found on Stack Exchange. Now it's about developing talent for managing ambiguity, making connections, and thinking in systems. Zubin, you should have just stayed up here. Zubin Pandey seems to have been born for this challenge. Whether from his start with the audaciously planned independent study to model the impact of hydroelectric power plants on local communities, through the arcana of First Nations treaties, river flow politics, and the biology of salmon reproduction in the ecological economics summer course, to the full-on ambiguous craziness that is complex system science, Zubin relishes the challenge endemic to embracing a truly systems view of the world. And he is really, really good at it. Zubin, congratulations on receiving this year's Class of 1924 Award for Computer Excellence. And now I'll invite up Ms. Thornberry.
Hello, it's my pleasure to represent the Wellness Department today. The Wellness Award is given to a student who exemplifies care of self, care of others, and care of the community. Jen Easterling is a high-achieving member of the MBS community, a dynamic wellness student, and a rare sophomore recipient of the Wellness Award. She is curious, inspired, and engaged in the learning process, asking thought-provoking questions, engaging in spirited discussion, highlighting nuance, and drawing links between class material and everyday life. Moreover, she's involved in extracurriculars, volleyball and golf, and often attends MBS events, cheering on her peers and showing support. She chose to take an additional wellness course, The Science of Happiness, in her sophomore year, has expressed interest in pursuing psychology and neuroscience as fields of study in the future, and has even taken steps towards these goals by enrolling in a pre-college program at Spelman College. We are pleased to give the Wellness Award to such a dynamic student who is committed to overall well-being. Congratulations, Jen. Please allow me to welcome Ms. Tizama.
Good afternoon. The Simon Slattery Scholar Athlete Award is given in memory of Timothy Simon Slattery. It is given annually to the junior who has earned at least 2 varsity letters during the academic year and who, in the judgment of a faculty committee, excels academically and athletically, epitomizing the true values of sportsmanship. This year's recipient has earned 6 varsity letters in his 3 years as an MBS student athlete. He has participated in 3 seasons for the 3 years enrolled at MBS and is well on his way to completing his 3x4 athlete award. This player exemplifies the role of someone who demonstrates respect for his teammates, coaches, officials, fans, and opponents. According to his ski coach, this athlete is a joy to coach. A skilled skier, he has a can-do attitude and is eager to learn. His positive attitude and rock-solid performance inspire his teammates to perform their best. According to his golf coach, this athlete has been a dedicated member of the golf program over the past 3 years. He has worked hard to improve each season and has been a tremendous role model for our younger players. He is a great teammate and is extremely deserving of this award. Sam Bodak has been an integral part of our cross-country, ski, and boys golf programs over the past 3 years. His sportsmanship and leadership skills make him a natural candidate for this honor. He continues to display the hard work and integrity that make him an excellent representative of our school. As you can see, our recipient is a true team player, a leader by example, and a pillar of true sportsmanship. I am honored to present this year's Simon Slattery Award to someone who epitomizes all the qualities of Timothy. Our 2023 award winner is Sam Bodak. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Morrison for our closing remarks.
What a wonderful celebration of the academic achievements of our students. Congratulations to all the award winners, and thank you. We're grateful for your embodying the life of the mind at school each and every day. When I think about these ceremonies, I can't help but think back to when I was sitting in your seats and in high school. Many students over the years that I've been an educator have told me that they assume because I was a teacher or an administrator or head of school that I must have always thrived academically and have been disciplined in my studies. But the truth is, that isn't true. The only academic honor I ever won in high school was the German Scholar Award. But I grew up speaking German, so it never felt like much of an achievement. To be honest, I didn't have the maturity or the focus when I was in high school because I hadn't yet found meaning in what I was learning. It was later that my love of math led me back to the classroom. As a math teacher, I could share this love of the subject with those to whom math came easily as it had for me, and also encourage and support those who struggled. As we heard about the accomplishments of today's award winners, I'm in awe of their focus and clarity of passion and follow-through. Today's honorees have such discipline and dedication. How cool is it to have those traits at this age? But for others of you who may be a bit more like I was, I just want to remind you that finding academic success is a yet endeavor, not a never. In other words, your passion is out there. The topic that you won't be able to stop thinking about is waiting to be discovered. Because I eventually got there, I know you will too. Sometimes you just need a longer runway before you're ready to fly. I want to congratulate today's academic award recipients and express my admiration for your wonderful achievements. They are truly inspiring. And for those of you who may have struggled academically this year, I encourage you to keep going and find the topics and themes that click and stir curiosity and passion within you. I'd like to encourage everyone to have a strong finish to the year. It's often how you begin and how you end that really matter. Have a wonderful weekend, and good luck to our performers, athletic and artistic, this afternoon. Thank you, and seniors first.